friends, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Melody and this is Bake a Leg and Let's Dig It. So very quickly, I want to do a playlist of all different types of pizza. Way back on my channel, I have the dough for pepperoni bread, but people don't want to go back that far. Today, I want to make a Sicilian pizza. That's my KitchenAid that you're looking at. This is the pan that I want to use for Sicilian pizza, and I want to get into discussing yeast first. So, I see a lot of people on the internet not be sure about their yeast or what they're using. Went to Sam's Club, and they only had this Instant Dry by Fleischmann's. Instant Dry means you don't have to bloom it with the water and the sugar. I see a lot of people do the blooming of their yeast, but yet they leave out the sugar. Sugar is what activates and feeds the yeast. So if you don't have the instant dry yeast, you have to bloom it the other way. Staff, I think, is the one that I have, and Jay picked me up one from the restaurant store, but I just don't have it handy. So that's my spew on the instant dry yeast. You can just add it right in. I store all my yeast like this in a mason jar, and I have some down in the freezer, and I have this in the refrigerator. Okay, flours, that could be a whole other story. Bread flour makes a really good crust, but I feel like all-purpose flour is readily available to everyone, so we're gonna go with all-purpose flour today. Sicilian pizza. Let's see some of the ingredients I have out. I have the yeast. This I will put back into the freezer. I have all-purpose flour. We're going to go with sausage, sweet Italian sausage. I'm going to cook it up in bigger chunks. We have some kosher salt and some Italian olive oil. Pretty easy to come together. So I figured we'll start the dough, and then, you know, I'll keep coming at you. Like, for an example, I want to do the freezer, the pizza freezer. Okay, Mel, speak proper English. I want to make the convenience freezer pizza dough so that when we want pizza on hand, it's already in the freezer. You freeze it. If you know you want a pizza the next day, you pull it out, put it in the refrigerator overnight, and right before you're ready to make, bring it out 30 minutes later, and you're good to go. So I have a bunch of those that I want to make with you. So it's going to be a whole, like, maybe pizza bread series. So enough talking. Today, Sicilian pizza. Okay. So this is my KitchenAid. We are going to do our 4 cups all-purpose flour. Actually, it's a habit for me to start with my liquids first. So I am going to do 1 2/3 cups of warm water. Now, you don't want the water for your yeast to be too cold. If it's too cold, it won't activate. If it's too hot, then you're definitely going to kill your yeast. So we are going to use 1 2/3 cups of warm water. So let me get out a liquid measuring cup. I also see people they're just using regular dry measuring cups. Always use liquid. So 1 2/3 cups of warm water. Let me get that right now. Okay, best way to do your water, 1 2/3, is to put it on the counter and make sure that you have the exact measurement, because when it comes to baking, you need to be exact. Okay. Now, if you ever had children, you could just stick your finger in there, or do it on your wrist. If it feels like a baby's bottle, good to go. Going right into KitchenAid. Other key point here is it's going to be between like 3.5, 4 cups of all-purpose flour. But if it seems a little too wet, it may be due to your temperature in your kitchen. Don't get worried. Just add a little bit of flour, maybe a tablespoon at a time. Okay, so now we have the water. I am going to go in 2 teaspoons, but I'm going to use a tablespoon, and a 1/4, which would be the size that would be in one of those packages. Right on in. Now we have to feed the yeast. We feed the yeast with sugar. So we're going to need 2 teaspoons of sugar. So right there, let me grab some sugar. Right on in. You could take a whisk it all together if you like. Another key point is do not add your salt in with your flour and sugar, because it counter reacts with your recipe and it could not work. If you layer it and put your flour and whatnot on the top, you can then add your salt. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so we did the water, we did the yeast, we did the sugar, and now I'm just going to give that a little whisk. Just going to whisk it up. Which you really don't have to, but I am. Okay, so because I told you that what I'm using is instant dry yeast, you don't have to let it bloom. Start adding all your other ingredients. So I'm going to start going in with 4 cups of all-purpose flour. Don't pack it. Use a knife to level it off. It's very easy to bake as long as you do it precisely. There's not a lot of room for error when it comes to baking. 1 cup going in. And I'll show you how I measure my flour. Just scooping it. Taking the back. I usually will go like that. And I just level it off. So that's 2. Three. 1 more. I need a little bit more. Back of a butter knife. You can also put it in from up above to make it light and airy. So let's turn you back around. Let me get you all situated. There is the 4 cups of all-purpose flour. Now on the flour, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of kosher salt on the flour. Just don't ever put your salt right on top of your yeast. And you have to add salt or it will taste like nothing. Even in bread baking, don't forget the salt. And now we need 1 tablespoon of olive oil. And this is for Sicilian pizza. Okay. Now what we're going to do is pull this down, lock it, and we are going to start mixing this for 3 to 5 minutes or until it forms a dough ball. Like I said, if it doesn't and it's still sticky, then no worries. We will, oh, I put my flash on. We can always add 1 tablespoon at a time. So we're going to let that start mixing. I usually keep mine on about 2. At least this one's not as noisy as my big one. My big one's pretty noisy. And you'll know because it'll start pulling away from the bowl. We're going to go up a notch. Once it cleans the bowl thoroughly, and like I said, you can add more flour if it's extremely sticky, because it could be it's too hot, it's too cold in your kitchen. It's the temperatures. You see how it's now breaking apart? And how you can tell is if you touch that, that is way too sticky, my friends. About a tablespoon. Eyeballed it. Again, once you see it starting to come away from the bowl, you're gonna mix this for 3 to 5 minutes. After it comes completely away from the bowl and it becomes nice and shiny, because it's going to need to knead. If you can see down in there, it just has a little bit stuck to the bottom, so we're just going to keep going. If you need to add a teaspoon or a tablespoon as you go along, no worries. Just add some more flour. And then now that it's almost cleaning the whole bowl, we are going to let this knead for 5 minutes. Okay, let's touch it. Still slightly tacky. You want it tacky, not too tacky. So let's just go in with 1 more tablespoon. Then I'm getting it all over the counter. Like I said, you want it tacky, not too tacky. Okay, so that looks pretty good to me. It's going to be slightly tacky, but that's okay. And then what you're going to need is you're going to need a bowl. And we want to put a little bit of oil in the bowl. I told you Jean has a little bit more of a draftier kitchen. So that'll happen sometimes. So it could be anywhere between 4.5 cups. It could possibly take 5. All depends. So let me put that back. Don't have my bowl scraper out, but that's okay. We'll manage. Let's get the oil all rubbed all over the bowl. You don't want your dough to stick, and you don't want it to form a skin. So we're going to lift this up. A little tacky is fine. Too tacky, not so much. See, like it's not where I can't get it off. So that's good. Okay. It's been a while since I used this KitchenAid of mine, so I have to get the bowl off. Okay, so this is what the dough looks like. Pretty good. Here is our oiled bowl. Let me move it back a little bit so you can see well. And I'm just going to basically get it all out. I need a little bit of flour. Oh, I didn't leave any extra flour out. You don't need a lot, just a little bit for your hands. Just to get it out. Dry counter, clean counter. Forgot I wasn't using my bowl that had the handle on it. I want to get it all out of here, which we are. There is the dough. And all I'm going to do is just give it a couple slaps. Goodness gracious. Okay, I thought the dog was going to bark. This is how glorious the dough looks. And now we're going to put it in the bowl. So let's do that. There it is. We're going to put it in the bowl, swirl it around. We're going to cover this. And I usually like to put it either in the oven with the light on or the microwave covered. And this is going to end up going in and resting for maybe about 35 minutes. So I'll check that. Okay, I usually use a bonnet. You can use saran wrap. You can use a tea towel. Saran wrap is not, I'm just not a huge fan of saran wrap. But that's okay. We will make do. We're going to cover it like so. You can go over it with another piece. And I'm going to put this, I have a lot of success putting it in the microwave. I think Jean has a warming button. It might be a proofer. I'll have to ask her next time. But I'm going to put this in the microwave to double in size. Great suggestion, because I just put that in the microwave, is if you keep it like this. I have a couple in the freezer. This one's going in the refrigerator. It will last a whole lot longer. So just a little tip for you. Okay, so took out some sausage. And what I think I'm going to get started on doing next while the dough is rising is I'm going to start cooking up the sausage. I don't want it like teeny tiny. We'll see how that goes, but we're going to get a pan. And we are going to start cooking the sausage. Now, I don't like sausage with casing on it, so you can get a knife and split it. Let me grab a knife. Okay, make sure you can see the sausage. What I usually will do is just put a slice like that. This is still a tiny bit frozen, and you can just pull the casing off just like that. See the casing? I think it just makes an overall better product. And then what I'm going to do, first of all, let me roll up my sleeves. I'm just gonna chunk it, because like I said, it's still a little frozen. But this is how you remove the casing off a sausage. And then you could just crumble it. Just get it in the pan and we'll make it to adequate sizes for the pizza. I haven't made a Sicilian in a while, and definitely haven't made one for the channel, so figured I would turn on the camera and bring you along. Plus I'm going to be making a bunch of different other pizzas. My next video is going to be to freeze some pizza crusts. So when I want pizza, or they want pizza, I can just pull it out from the freezer, put it in the refrigerator overnight, and then when you're about ready to cook it, you just bring it out and let it sit on the counter, room temperature, 30 minutes. Now the pizza dough that I just made, you can get 2 smaller pizzas, or you can do 2 of the half pan for Sicilian. I am going to use the whole thing for the big pan. And this is ice cold because I wasn't that prepared and didn't take my meat out on time. I was going to do pepperoni, that's why. But this should be a pretty good amount of sausage. And you may hear my chickens out there freaking out, squawking and talking. So yeah, I'm going to do a whole pizza series, and it's going to be in a playlist all of its own. Whether it's pizza bread, garlic knots, it's all going to go into that same folder. So stay tuned for all that. As you can hear, it's frozen and it's ice cold. Just take a few minutes, pick this off. One more piece to go, and I can wash my hands. You can make homemade sauce. I normally would. I'm not going to tonight. I think I'm just going to use standard. At least I think I am. Okay. That's the sausage all out of the casing. Let me wash my hands. Now, you have a choice on your own pizza dough on the bottom. It's not gardening season. If I had fresh basil, I would definitely put fresh basil on the top. You can use buffalo mozzarella. You can use Parmesan. You can use Parmigiano Reggiano. Whatever you like. I'm going to just add some seasoning into the meat. So, let me get that out. I'm going to use some garlic powder. I'm going to use some bay leaves. Which will make it taste even better. And then I am going to use just a little bit of Italian seasoning, which will have oregano and stuff in it. If you want a little kick, you can do some pepper flakes. I'm not going to do that. But I am going to put a little bit of this basil on the bottom of my crust. And that's it. Let me show you. There's the sausage. I'm going to turn this on low since it was kind of frozen. Here's the pan. I'm just going to put a little smear of olive oil on there. The The dough is inside the microwave rising, and yeah, we'll wait for that to rise, but I'm just going to put a little olive oil on this pan here so you could see the full pan. And I'm going to attempt to make Sicilian pizza that I have not made in years. So I will bring you back when the dough rises. Now, if the garden was in, you could use cherry tomatoes, little grape tomatoes, some fresh Genovese basil. Mwah, delicious. But it's not summer yet. It's actually first day of spring. So we're making a Sicilian pizza with what we got. I have this on low because, like I said, part of it was still frozen. And yeah, just wanted to tell you that when you have your garden coming in and you might be exhausted, dudes, I will do the video on some freezer pizza doughs, and you can use your fresh basil, your cherry tomatoes, and make a delicious quick pizza. Quick for the kids too. So alrighty, just wanted to give you that. So I finished semi-frying my sausage. I'm going to aim me there because I cleaned up. And we are going to take a look at our Sicilian pizza dough. And of course, you know, it's that time of the day where all the dogs bark. Okay, everyone, I just took the dough out. I'm trying to time this correctly as well because it's also going to be for dinner tonight. So let me show you the dough. It is doubled in size. I could actually leave this on a little bit longer if I wanted to, but I spread a little bit of olive oil on the bottom of the pan. There's the sausage. I have some mozzarella cheese because Thomas finished the block. I also have this. Have you guys ever tried this from Sam's? It's a 3 blend. Some of it are big chunks, but you know what? It'll be your pizza. You could put whatever you want on it. And I have some, I pulverized it. Let me see. Parmigiano Reggiano, some mozzarella cheese. And then I have this other blend that I might end up using. Okay, and in case I left this part out, you can put this in the pan and then kind of bake it halfway. With a little bit of sauce on it, and then you're going to bring it back out, add more sauce, your cheese, your toppings, and it's going to go back in. Let me see if I wrote it down. 450 for 30 minutes. So, let's get our pan over here and get ready to finish the Sicilian pizza. I'm just trying to time it correctly because Thomas gets done work at 5. Jean went to go get her nails done. She has her daughter's baby shower this weekend. And I might put a little pepperoni on it, even though the pepperoni was not thought right. This is slicing pepperoni, which, if you know, you know, it's the bigger slices. But I might take a sharp knife and I might cut it into pieces. So let me get that out in case I decide to do that as well. Maybe I'll take like maybe not quite half of it. And let me turn you around. Not quite half of it. And just maybe slice it in half or in 4s because it's pretty big slices. Maybe like that. And like that. And then like that. Now, normally I make my own sauce, but I'm not today. I make a chicken Alfredo pizza that I'm going to be bringing to the channel, which is amazing. When your garden's in full effect, you can make all the tomato, like the cherry tomatoes on the top would be excellent. You can do a vodka sauce on the top of this pizza as well. I'm going to give myself a little grace, and I'm just going to use a regular traditional sauce. I'm cheating and I'm going to use this, which is okay. We all need a couple little, I want a piece of this. We all need a little bit of grace sometimes because it's a lot of work when you're in the kitchen the way that I am. Okay. Let's start. I want to get to, you see the dough. Now we're going to watch that pan. Where's my drink? My son Jared bought me that today because he borrowed my vehicle. So, I think he went to the art museum. Basically, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to punch it down. And I'm literally going to get it all out. Bring you this way. I want to make sure you can see everything that's going on. Okay, so basically, I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to start. Just use your hands. You may have to let it rest for a minute if it keeps coming back at you. You can stretch it. Give it some sides. That is my oven, preheating on 450 degrees because you're going to need a hot oven and I don't want one side to be thinner, so you just need to stand here and play with your dough. Even it out the best you can. I told you that recipe would fill this type of pan, which is pretty big. This might be like a 16 by 16. Takes a few minutes to get it to cooperate, but, and I think, even though I like to cater to Jean for good reason, I think that I may want to put something that I like on the bottom of the crust at the halfway point and add a little bit of my fresh garlic that I froze. If you saw that video, if you did not, it is on my channel. You can usually tell if the pizza dough is a little bit thicker on one side than it is the other side. Don't get frustrated. It does pull back sometimes, but that's okay. I told my Jared when he gets back, I think he's at the art museum, that I would give him some Sicilian pizza, so. That looks pretty good. Pretty good. So you can go with your finger like that and go up the sides. Are you able to see that? I really hope. Sometimes it's not the brightest in here sometimes, and I really do try. Okay, our relight is on, so hopefully you can see. I'm just pushing the edge up with my thumb, just a wee little bit, tuck it into the corner, and then do the same on this side. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. It beats buying a Sicilian pizza in any pizza parlor today with the economy. It's quite expensive for sure. Just pulling it up a little bit. just with my 2 thumbs. That looks pretty good. So if it shrinks in a little bit at the corners, I'm just not going to have a fit over it. But this is what it looks like. Phenomenal. I'm going to let that sit for a minute. Let me wash my hands very quickly. So yeah, I've made it with vodka penne sauce before. It's just been a hot minute. It's been actually a hot minute since I made this. I don't think I've made Sicilian pizza quite a little bit, and I definitely know I have not brought it to the channel. So that's how big the pan is. Hopefully we have enough toppings. I say don't be particular, but I am a little bit myself. Now, let me go grab that garlic that I froze that practically like mold, like you just go like that and crumble it. I want to get that out in advance so I don't forget that I want that on my pizza. And Jean loves garlic like I do. So let's see if I can locate it. I found the frozen whole ones. But I'm looking for my baggie of frozen garlic that's already, aha, got it. We already went through my other 2 baggies where I did the perforated lines. So yeah, and this stays out too long, it will fall out fairly quickly, and I think it's one of the best ways of doing garlic. I practically puree it. I want to get out some Italian seasoning. You could put hot pepper flakes on it if you want, but I am looking for the basil. I wish I had fresh basil. My little arrow garden's doing some fresh basil. I feel bad though picking off a couple leaves because it's not that big yet. I'm going to take a little bit more of this pepperoni and cut it same way I just showed you, in half, then in quarter pieces. Now, I'm bringing quiches to the channel as well, but this is all about pizza. Me, I would want mushrooms, green pepper, and onion, and I may end up doing this again, but maybe in a round pizza form. So hang with me. I'm going to be bringing a bunch of different pizzas. And this is how I froze this. All you do, at least normally all you do, is just make a line. Like so. Which I will have to get more garlic and do this again, because I'll tell you what, this was phenomenal. I just score the baggie and I just go right down. You could do this in ice cube trays if you want, but ice cube trays take up a lot of room in the freezer. And don't mind the dogs, school bus time, and I never get to do a video where they don't actually bark. And that's how I do this, so that when I need a square or two, I can just pop it right out. So I'm going to use the saran wrap. I should have just unzipped it. Dumbo. If I could get it apart. Okay, it doesn't want to open. Sorry if my head's in the camera. All right, I'm not going to fuss that much. I am just going to peel this back. And I am going to take the saran wrap. I'm going to take off some garlic off the top row so that I can use it on the pizza. Normally it'll come out in a full square, but that's okay. There's that. And then I just fold it down and I just put it back into the baggie, and it goes right back into the freezer. Jean actually really liked this because no fuss, no muss, and it's easy peasy to just pull a square out. The dough's looking pretty good. Sitting over there resting for a minute. Put the garlic back. Let me check my corners. Just this one right here. It looks pretty good. Once you make it, I mean, like I said, I haven't made it in years, and I had to think from memory because my recipes are in storage. But this, my friends, is how you would make a Sicilian pizza. Okay, what do I want to do first? I think I am going to take a little bit of this basil leaves, and I am just going to go over the bottom part of the crust, because remember, we're going to half bake this and then pull it out and then pop it back in. So pretty easy. Perfection. Okay. There's the basil. It's so weird. I get weird lighting in this kitchen. And now this, because they don't have an island here, this section over here, besides I can't move Jean's toaster, but she said I can have this section over here for all baking and stuff like that. So let me slide you down a hair. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the lid on this basil. I'm going to do a little sprinkle of Italian seasoning all over. If you have fresh, that would be better. So plant your herbs. Okay. Now I'm going to go in with some sauce. I'm going to pop it in the oven. I don't want to put the garlic on yet because it could possibly burn. So, get a tablespoon. Like I said, you could take a shortcut. No harm, no foul. Just gonna eyeball it. And basically, you wanna smear this. Just don't forget, you're gonna go in with more sauce after this is half baked. And this will be dinner tonight. A little bit more. Just like so. Gardening, baking, cooking is normally very therapeutic for me. I love it. In case you're new here, hi, I'm Melody. I went to industrial baking school and I couldn't stand it. Oops, I just stuck my spoon in that. Oh boy. Because it was always like a million of this sticky bun, but I learned so much from it. And I think that this is good. got it to the sides. And that looks good to me. So that's going to go in for about 15 minutes, 450 degrees. There it is. First step after putting the dough in. Season it and then put your sauce in. 15 minutes. I'll check it. I'll pull it back out. And then we'll put all the other goodness on the Sicilian pizza. So hang tight. Okay, I'm back, everyone. Thomas just came in and said it smells good. Let me show you what this pizza is doing, okay? I love these racks. I don't know where she got them, but it's great. So, the only problem I'm going to have here is one's still getting their nails done and the other one's going to the gym. So, I might not have to rush to put this back in. This is why I say you cook it halfway. Just look at that. Let me show you closer. It's all steamy. You see the crust all blew up? Looks glorious. And now we would add the goodness to it. So, I'm trying to figure this out because this is dinner. I can put the things on it and then I can pop it back in. And look, it didn't pull away too much from the corners. I'm telling you, you're going to love this recipe. Please give it a try. I shock myself sometimes that I can actually remember in my head my recipes. I can put the ingredients on the top of it and the cheese and then just not pop it in until they're ready to eat and turn you all back on. So I might end up doing that. But what I think I'm going to do is go over it with some of this first. Cheese. But you half cook it for 15 minutes. And my little dog is back there crying. So if you hear anyone, it's just going to be Thomas, who finally gave me a compliment. It smells good. I've never had anyone tell me my food wasn't good. So we're going to go in with this Parmesan. We're going to let that sit on there for a minute. Oven's still on. I like every little nook and cranny. I don't even care if the crust gets some cheese on it. That's fine by me. Miss Sophia, please stop. That's my little toy Yorkie who wants to eat, which she will in a second. I want to let the big dogs eat first. So don't be bashful. And I'm just switching it up. I'm going to crumble the garlic. Look at this. Look at this garlic. See how it gets like that? I'm just going to try to sparingly put some all over this pizza because you don't want this to burn. And spread fresh garlic all over. You can do it however you like. Jean and I happen to love garlic, and it's really good for you. There comes Thomas now, and I'm not going to hit the pause button. I have garlic all over my fingers. You can even take some of the garlic and just rub it across the crust, my friends. You will not regret it. Because if you like the crust, it will taste like garlic. Just a little bit more to go. And stay tuned for my next video to see whose recipe I use to make some frozen pizzas. Frozen pizza dough. Okay, let me rinse my hands. Oh my goodness, my little dog. I think just to protect the garlic from burning, I'm just going to go over it. Just the garlic areas so it doesn't burn. It gives it a little bit of protection. Just don't forget, we're going to be adding some more sauce. But just to cover the garlic up a little bit. Nobody likes burnt garlic. This is just how I do it. And now, why not, right? Why not? Or maybe not. Let me do some more sauce. I think you need to move that out of your way. And now this time I'm just going to kind of go in a line and sprinkle a little extra sauce. I have homemade sauce, pizza sauce, I think, in the garage, but it's not in the house, so a lot of good that's going to do me. I could have just smeared it with more sauce before I actually put the garlic and the cheese on, but that's okay. Check your edging. Make sure it has some sauce going around it. You don't want a dry pizza. And I think that may be good. You can also just take the back of your spoon and just lightly rub it in. No big deal. Probably the sound of Thomas' boot that just sounded like it was crashing through the ceiling. Okay. Now, I'm going to do some of this Asiago Parmesan Romano that I got at Sam's. If you're gonna make a Sicilian pizza, load it up. This should taste so good with all these different flavors. I think this bag is about $10, I think. At Sam's, I forget, to be honest with you. And this is just on the bottom of the pizza. When in doubt, cheese it out. That's what I usually say, like when I make chili, when in doubt, beef it out. Okay, here he comes. See if I can get him to say something. Alright, so what do you think so far? I was telling the fine folks, because we're still on, this is what it's looking like so far. I'm doing multiple cheeses. I did garlic on the bottom because Jean loves it. How's it look so far? Because I'm not going to bother putting it in the rest of the way until you just walk in the door. I have sausage and pepperoni still to go and mozzarella cheese.
Looks good so far.
Looks good so far. Okay. Don't be long. Bye, Tom Tom. All right, Thomas is going to the gym. And now, let me check something real quick. I was thinking like some mushrooms. I'm like, nah, I'll do that on my next pizza. You could do black olives on this as well. So, I'm going to try to crumble some sausage. Making sure I stick to my steps. No, I gotta let little Miss Sophia out to eat. Not while I have greasy hands though. I did strain it. This is the Italian sweet sausage that we cook together. You can buy extra and cook it up in advance and use one of those reusable baggies. Yes, I'm a little bit particular. I feel like you should get it in every bite. And I hope to God I did not get oil on my shirt earlier. Olive oil, because that might not come out. I might have to use some shout. Some of Jean's shout. So, I heard Jean told Thomas that he may never want me to move out. I think they're really thoroughly enjoying all the cleaning I do and all the food I make. But no, Jean's a doll. We get along really, really well. So just, if you want, just try to do it in a line, the sausage pieces. I didn't do like a huge amount, but I think I did enough. Jean was taking it out for me frozen. Some sausage that I had. I don't want anyone to say that my pizza is chintzy. But my way of showing love and giving thanks is through food. In case you didn't know that and you're new here, I love to garden, grow my own food. I like to bake and cook. And that is just like my way of saying I love you, thank you. I mean, I think that's how I got my husband through the pit of his stomach. Not that we're together anymore, but there's still a little bit more sausage in the pan. So I'm trying to make sure I don't miss any spots. Might as well use it up. Just fill in the gaps. My friends, fill in the gaps. Like I said, you want to make sure that, and you can even put some a little bit closer to the edge as well, because this is par baked. And when your family or kiddos come in, you can pop the rest of this in the oven, which is what I'm going to do when they get in. And when it comes out of the oven, I will show you what it looks like completely finished. But like I said, I want to do like a deep dish. I want to do pepperoni Genoa salami. Bring it to the channel. Just regular pizzas, just all kinds of stuff. And I think that's it for the sausage. Okay. Now I have to wash my hands. And I'm not trying to make this video too long. I know my bagel video was long, but bear with me. I really need a decent laptop. I mean, that would only be a miracle for my birthday. And then put in editing software on there. So I would have a fast forward button. So, last but not least, we're going to go in with some pepperoni before I run over on my time limit. I don't want dogs to be barking. Help us all. Who knows what these dogs bark at sometimes, but I think it's kids, school buses, and you're not allowed to walk down this side of the street. So I try to hit the pause. If you can see what I'm doing, I'm just laying some pepperoni down the pizza. And that is going to be it. I'm just going to add mozzarella cheese. I'll wait for Thomas to get back from the gym, Jean from getting her nails done, and it will be dinner time in the household. But thank you everyone for joining me. I hope you give this recipe a try. You can see it's delectable and easy peasy to do. That's just one of the big dogs getting a drink. So I'm going to just, all I really have to do is just put the mozzarella cheese on. And this can sit here until dinner time, 450 in the oven for another 15 to 20 minutes. And you will be good to go. I hate running over on time. Okay. Let's see. That looks amazing without even the mozzarella cheese on it. Okay, so let me grab the mozzarella cheese, get started putting that on, and we will call this video done. Okay, so I put the mozzarella cheese on. Let me make sure my phone wire isn't in the way. Look at that Sicilian pizza. It is loaded. Bunch of cheeses, sauce of course, garlic, sausage, pepperoni. It looks absolutely amazing. And like I said, that's my video for today. I will show you what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. But I thank you very, very much. If you're new here, maybe think about subscribing. But I will definitely bring you back and let you see what the finished product looks like. So you have to hang tight just a little bit longer and we're going to wrap this video up. But absolutely love y'all. And I am proud of myself that my memory remembered how to make a Sicilian pizza. And it looks so good. All right, everyone. Hang tight for the pizza to come out. All right, friends, there it is, getting ready to come out of the oven. And I guess when we cut it, we'll let you see what the inside looks like. Okay, there it is. Everyone's getting ready to eat. It looks delish, and it's definitely done. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment down below if you try the Sicilian pizza, and I'll see you on the next one.